Welcome back. Apple shares off to a strong start this year, climbing better than 20%. Take a look at that chart. Enthusiasts eagerly awaiting the debut of the iPhone 8, especially as its competitor, the Samsung Galaxy S8, is being released today. Now, no release date has been set for the highly anticipated Apple device, but rumors of the design have started to leak online. One of those rumors claims Apple will move the Touch ID to the back of the phone. Joining us right now is the editor of Mashable, editor-at-large, Lance Ulanoff. Lance, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So not everybody online is loving this idea of moving.
No. So the idea is that you want all screen. You know, this is, and just to back up a little bit, Apple rumors about the iPhone 8 have been going on since the moment the iPhone 7 released. Literally just like it's been a more than a year of rumors. So you have to take this with a grain of salt. A so-called leak from China. There's always stuff coming out of there. Apple does a bunch of different designs, but they might want to move the fingerprint reader to the back because they want all screen. This happens to be a Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus, brand new. Did the exact same thing.
Okay.
Infinity display, right?
Yeah.
There's no physical button on the front of here. They put the fingerprint reader on the back. Now, Apple wants to put theirs lower, theoretically. This, by the way, is a terrible spot for the fingerprint reader.
And is it for your thumb or your
It's for your finger, but do you see what I'm doing right now?
Yeah.
I'm putting it over the camera, so it drives me a little crazy.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's
but
weird.
Here's the problem.
I think I like it here.
Yeah, I know.
Well, yeah,
we're used to it here.
And Apple would really like to put it there, but the problem is they can't figure out yet how to integrate the technology underneath the screen. This is why it's not here right now. That's why they weren't able to do it here for Samsung, and supposedly Apple has run into the exact same problem. Maybe. Because if they didn't run into that problem, you would actually have it hidden underneath here. There is there's a vibration under here, but there's no fingerprint reader. So it's a frustrating thing because this is Apple's 10-year anniversary for the iPhone. We want it to be special. We want it to look different. We want them to push the envelope, but we don't want them to annoy us.
Yeah, well, that is, I can see why that's annoying.
What are some of the most annoying, complained about things in the 7 that Apple might try to fix?
Well, so, you know, obviously with the 7, they took away the 3.5mm headphone jack.
Right.
That was a courageous decision. They got a lot of flack for calling it courage.
Which is annoying because you can't use the headphones and charge the phone at the same time.
Right.
And you can't use the headphones that you have right now. You got to get new headphones.
Well, you get a dongle. With every single iPhone 7 and 7 Plus that ships, they actually shipped a dongle with it, which kind of indicates that they knew they were getting ahead of people a little bit. So you can still use your old headphones with it, not a problem.
Oh, okay.
But it is something, it is something that people are concerned about losing. So that's been, I would say, the biggest complaint. But you know, Apple sold tens of millions of these iPhones. In particular, the iPhone 7 Plus was the big seller. So it didn't slow them down at all. There was no sort of Achilles heel in this product.
What are you expecting from the Samsung release today? How's that phone?
Well, this is an excellent phone, actually. And this is the winner that Samsung needed to come back from the Note 7 debacle. I mean, it is beautiful. It feels good. So this one is actually 6.2-inch screen. The S8 is a 5.8-inch screen. Those sound tremendous, really big, but it's also sort of a more narrow phone. The edges are curved, so it doesn't feel too big. And the Infinity display is gorgeous. It's Super AMOLED, so everything looks brilliant on it. It's got an octa-core processor in it, so it's super fast. People are very excited about this phone. I think that Samsung, which, by the way, is the leader on the Android side, will do well with it.
So I think it's a beautiful phone. One of my questions is how does that use with a case? I mean, is that like more likely to break? I mean, if you have the thing in the back and you have the thing that's wrapping around?
So it's Gorilla Glass on both sides. We don't know yet, you know, like how many. There are some drop tests, and some people have broken it, some people have not.
Give them to anybody in my family, and we will drop
It'll be cracked.
I've actually carried this for a time with a case as well. I have a beautiful case for it, but I like to go case-free because it's nice and thin. Why make it thicker? And, you know, I've got big hands. I don't drop things too much.
Dude, I slammed my iPhone in the car door, and it didn't crack. It bent. Wow. And they replaced it, but it didn't even crack.
Wow.
Where are these price point-wise, Lance?
This guy is like $850. So the price, it's so funny now. I talk about iPhone, smartphone prices, and I say the full price. We never used to say that because people just paid it off through their carrier. They had contracts, and then they would just switch out up when they were allowed to upgrade to a new phone. Now, you still pay on a monthly basis, but they're telling you the full price of the phone. So the big one's $850, the smaller one's like $750, and that's pretty much in line with what you're going to find from an iPhone. They start at 64 gigabytes of memory.
Can I just raise one issue? Sure. If Apple changes the iPhone and the face of it, then it's just going to look like every other phone.
It's very difficult to innovate now in the smartphone space and stand out because they're all becoming these beautiful slabs of glass.
And they're all smart.
And they're all smart. Yeah, they're all smart. They're all fast. So it's really a battle, you know, to do something that steps out. I will say, like on the iPhone 7 Plus, for example, you got the 2 cameras. So you have something called the portrait mode. That's actually a real standout feature, and you also have 2x optical
zoom. They need to add it to the
By the way,
phone,
the Samsung, for some reason, Samsung didn't change the phone on this side. It's 12 megapixels. They didn't add a second phone. They don't have that feature. They did upgrade the front-facing phone to an 8 megapixel. And by the way, since selfies are so important,
selfies.
That may make the most difference because that's all people care about is doing this.
Doing selfies.
Excuse me, I've got to get one right now.
Exactly. Great. Lance, great stuff. Thanks so much.
Pleasure.
Lance Ulanoff from Mashable. Coming up.